ready to go. I'd like to call this meeting to order. What are we here today? March 7th, it's 10 a.m. I call this meeting to order. Present here in the boardroom is, of course, myself and Supervisor Humphrey, and I understand we have Supervisor Klein that will be attending on the phone today. So let's see, who are we going to get to say the Pledge of Allegiance today? Cassandra, would you like to lead that? Thank you.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear Heavenly Father, we are thankful for this day, and we're thankful that the Board of Supervisors are able to meet and to help discuss activities that are occurring within Gila County. And we ask Thee to give them guidance to know what is best and have the Spirit to be with them as they ponder these dealings. And we say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Thank you. Well, first off the bat is item 2A. Presentation, public recognition of 25 employees through the County Spotlight on Employees program as follows. Kenneth, do I need to read every one of these names, Missy?
You can leave it to Erica.
Okay, I'm going to leave reading all the names to Erica because there's so many. So Erica, thanks for presenting today.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Chair, members of the board. Again, thank you all for making time for our Spotlight program. Okay, can you hear me now? Okay, so good morning, Mr. Chair, members of the board. Thank you again for making time for our Spotlight program. We do appreciate it. We do have quite a few today, so we'll start off with our first one, Kenneth Sadathai. So we had actually scheduled him from another meeting, but we were able to move him to today. His Spotlight nomination read, "We received a call from a resident that was walking her dog down a busy roadway. She stated that Ken actually slowed down and moved all the way over so she didn't have to walk in the ditch. Ken is actually in Public Works and has been employed with the county for 7 months, and I don't know if he was able to attend today in Payson."
No, he is not here.
Okay, perfect. We'll make sure he gets his gift card. Our next one is for Taylor Holland. So Taylor, her nomination was part of a group nomination. Her portion of the nomination reads, Evan Stahlcup was trying to locate a parcel of land in Young, Arizona. He was unable to find any information online. He did reach out to Taylor Holland in the recorder's office. Taylor was able to find a PDF of the actual document that transferred ownership of the property. And that document included a multi-paragraph legal description that was not translatable by Evan to any sort of address or location on a map. So this is all a really long way of saying that I found Taylor Holland and Dylan Mojica to be highly competent, professional, responsive, diligent, thorough, and altogether pleasant, helpful, and a pleasure to work with. I'm guessing they would both say, "Hey, I was just doing my job." But these days, finding anyone anywhere who is any of those things, let alone all of them, is all too rare, and I wanted to show my appreciation. And that was an excerpt from a letter from Evan Stahlcup. Taylor is with the recorder's office and has been employed with the county over a year. And Taylor, if you'd like to come up. And if you'd like to All right, our next one is a group nomination. And I'm not sure everyone was able to attend, but again, we'll make sure that they get their gift cards and are recognized for this. So their Spotlight nomination read, "A big shout out to our awesome team. Thanks for all you do in keeping everyone safe and our equipment in top shape. We appreciate all the hard work and dedication. During recent snow events, the snow team worked 400 plus hours of extra time to help clear our roads, with start times as early as 3 a.m. and stop times as late as 9 p.m. The team responded on 15 separate days to remove snow, and 6 days were either weekends or holidays. Their effort, dedication, and teamwork helped clear the snow to make our roads passable. Team members traveled from various duty stations to help where it was needed. The team consisted of Timber, Young, and Tonto Basin Road Yard, the Buckhead Mesa landfill, as well as retirees and employees. So employees that were involved, and again, I understand their schedule was a little busy and they may not be able to attend, but a vast majority of them are up in the Payson area. But we have Wayne Jones, who has been with the county over 10 and a half years. Eddie Wisdom, who's been with the county over 27 years. Rick Houndshell, who's been with the county a little over 2 years. Ashley Boyce, who's been with the county almost 5 years. Ralph Straub, who's been with the county 4 months. Ross Kemp, who's also been with the county 4 months. Wes Wilson, who has been with the county a little over 15 years, including some temporary work for us. Steve Seaman, who's been with the county over 10 years. Mark Klein, who's been with the county 16 and a half years. Jamie Roberts, who's been with the county a little over 2.5 years. We also have David LaForge, who's been with the county over 14 years. Michael Wicks, who's been with the county for 8 months. Ray Armington, who's been with the county over 7.5 years. Brian Murray, who's been with the county for 2 years. Steve McFarland, who's been with the county over 10 years. Luke Delahaye, who's been with the county over 9 months. Kyle Lux, who's been with the county for 8 months. Kevin Jax, who's been with the county over 8 months. Marlisa Lux, almost 2.5 years. Kyle Scott at 9 years. John Digman at 11.5 years. Don Gale at 4.5 years. Ronnie Woolwine at 2 years. And again, Kenneth Satterthwaite at over 7 months. So we wanted to thank them for their time, and we'll be sure that they get their gift card in a timely manner. But that does conclude.
Thank you, Erica. Supervisor Humphrey, do you have any comments?
I just want to say thank you all very, very much, and recognition and the gift card is probably not enough thanks for being out early in the morning and on your weekends to help keep the roads open, but we do appreciate you very, very much for have putting forth the effort to help keep the roads open.
Thank you. Supervisor Klein, anything you'd like to comment on?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to say also congratulations those guys, and we really, really appreciate everything they do. They do a lot of work for us, and it's really good. So thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor, and I will reiterate all of that we have a fantastic men and women that work for the county, and it just shows through in these spotlights. I really appreciate that. And everyone does really go above and beyond expectations when they're asked to.
Yes.
Thank you, Erica.
Again, thank you for your
Thank
time.
you, Erica.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for that. That's always encouraging to hear those things. So we have a public hearing now, item 3A, information, discussion, action to consider a liquor license application, county number LL-23-05, submitted by Amy S. Nations for a new Series 6 bar license at the Creekside Steakhouse and Tavern located at 1520 East Christopher Creek Loop in the Payson area, and issue a recommendation to the State Liquor Board on whether or not the State Liquor Board should grant or deny the license. And Samantha, you're presenting this.
Yes, thank you. Good morning, Chairman and members of the board. Amy S. Nations submitted an application to the Arizona Department of Liquor License and Control for a new Series 6 bar license at the Creekside Steakhouse and Tavern located at 1520 East Christopher Creek Loop in Payson. The clerk's office received the application from the DLLC on January 24th, 2023, and processed it for internal reviews and to be posted for the 20-day posting period. It was posted on January 27th, 2023, and removed February 21st, 2023. With no pending issues relevant either from department heads or elected officials, and to date, the clerk's office has received no written arguments from any of the bona fide residents within 1 mile radius of the property. We can answer any questions and request that the board proceed with the hearing.
Thank you, Samantha. Any questions? Supervisor Humphrey?
No questions.
Supervisor Klein, any questions?
No, I have none.
I have no questions either, so I'll open it up now to a public hearing to see if there's any comments from the public. Do we have any comments from the public in the Payson area?
No, sir.
YouTube? No. Anyone present here today at the boardroom? No, and we've received no letters. So I'll close the public hearing section of this and I'll ask for a motion.
Mr. Chair, Supervisor Klein, not Mr. Acting Chair today, Mr. Real Chair. If you'd like, being that you're not feeling well, I'll do all the motions today, if that's okay with you?
Yeah, you bet, Tim. Thanks.
Okay, good enough. Just making sure. Okay, Mr. Chair, I move to approve that the Arizona Department of Liquor License and Control approve the liquor license application submitted by Amy S. Nations for the Creekside Steakhouse and Tavern.
Motion to approve. All those in favor, say aye.
You need a motion first.
Oh, that's
I'll
a-
second that motion.
Okay, thank you, sorry. What a procedural faux pas.
That's, you get better with practice.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor of approving, say aye.
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 Okay, motion passes unanimous. Regular agenda items. 4A, information discussion action to certify the collection amounts for the Superior Court, $883,629.58. Payson Regional Justice Court, $561,965.16. And Globe Regional Justice Court, $509,035.34 for fiscal year 2021 through 2022. Maren, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, Supervisor Humphrey, Supervisor Klein. This is an annual certification that we do per Arizona Revised Statute 41-2421G. And we have brought these numbers before you today. If you have any questions, we'd be happy to answer them.
Thank you, Maren. Any questions for Maren? Supervisor Humphrey?
Mr. Chair, no question.
Thank you. Supervisor Klein?
None for me. Thank you.
Okay, I will entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the collection amounts for the Superior Courts, Payson Regional Justice Courts, and Globe Regional Justice Courts for the fiscal year 2021-2022 as presented.
And Mr. Chair, I'll second that.
I think we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion passes. Item 4B, information, discussion, action to approve an agreement with EarthQuest Plumbing and Plumbing LLC for the wastewater repairs at the Pleasant Valley Veterans Retreat Center and authorize the chairman's signature for the expenditure of $162,558. Again, Maren.
Okay, good morning again, Mr. Chair, Supervisor Humphrey, Supervisor Klein. This project started out a few months ago. We noticed that our emergency management and health department noticed that there was an issue with the pressurized wastewater system at the Pleasant Valley Veterans Retreat Center. Our colleagues at EarthQuest Plumbing went out and assessed the situation. The assessment is attached to the agenda item for anyone's consideration or review. At the time, they presented us with with an assessment of the system, and then later they came back and provided us with a proposal for the system's repair to get it up to code. And that is also attached here. And the county attorney's office has been super helpful in getting us through navigating the utilization of ARPA funding to ameliorate the situation. And I think Jessica was still working on this at 11 o'clock last night, so thank you, Jessica. But we do finally have a contract here for your consideration and approval. And this does create something of a public health situation, so we'd like to get it resolved before any contractors begin work out there. And we are optimistic that the timing of this will allow that to happen, that moving forward with this repair now will allow for future contract work out there to not be inhibited by this situation, and that this will be up and running before any contracts get started for actual work on the site. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Maren. Supervisor Humphrey.
Mr. Chair, I have no questions.
Supervisor Klein.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor, and I appreciate that, and not only for our contractors' sake, but springtime is right around the corner, and so the firefighters from the Forest Service side will be rolling in there as well. So thank you for getting this going. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Supervisor Klein. And with that, I'll open up for a motion on item 4B.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve an agreement with EarthQuest Plumbing and Plumbing LLC in the amount of $162,558 as presented.
And Mr. Chair, I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion passes. Thank you,
Thank you so
Maren.
much.
Next item, I'm not sure we have a presenter, but it is 4C, information, discussion, action to approve amendment number 2 to an independent contractor agreement, contract number 07012022-23 between Arizona Community Action Association doing business as Wildfire and the Gila County Community Services Department Community Action Program, whereby Wildfire will administer the APS funds in the amount of $48,900 from July 1, 2022 to June 30, 2023. Maren, you're going to,
Not seeing Melissa here, I'm glad to
Okay.
present her items for you.
thank you.
So this item, as you said, is between the Arizona Community Action Association doing business as Wildfire and Gila County Community Services CAP program to provide, this is for utility assistance for APS for $48,900 for the current fiscal year.
Thank you, Maren. Any questions for Maren today?
I don't have any questions for Maren, and Melissa just walked in, and so, but you're fine. You're fine. I don't have any questions for either of you.
Okay, so Melissa, we're on item 4C, and so we've been presented, so unless you have any other comments, we'll proceed with questions. So no questions from Supervisor Humphrey. Mr. Menlove, did you have? Okay. And then Supervisor Klein, do you have any questions for Melissa?
No, I do not. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Neither do I. So I will entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve amendment number 2 in an independent contract agreement, contract number 07012022-23 in the amount of $48,900 as presented.
And Mr. Chair, I'll second that.
So we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion passes. Thank you, Melissa. We have item 4D, information, discussion, action to approve amendment number 2 to funding agreement number 213-22 between the Arizona Department of Housing and the Gila County Community Services Department, Housing Services, to provide low-income home energy assistance program funding for $350,701 to be used to provide weatherization services to eligible citizens residing in Gila County from July 1 of 2022 to June 30th, 2023, as presented. Melissa?
Good morning, and my sincere apologies for being late today. But this is our weatherization program dollars that are energy-related from the federal government coming into the Arizona Department of Housing and then to us, called Low-Income Energy Assistance Program.
Okay. Any questions, Supervisor Humphrey?
Just a couple. Melissa, on this funding, is it required that the contractor be BPI certified?
Yes, sir.
Yes, it is. Okay, that's fine. Next question. Were you contacted by a company called Bulldog Construction?
I was not. I was contacted by somebody named Keith.
Okay,
Okay,
that's the company name that.
okay. I
That-
didn't know. I talked to him after we finally touched base with each other.
Okay, good. Local contractor. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
No
Supervisor.
further questions, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Supervisor. Supervisor Klein, any questions for Melissa?
No, I'm good. Just thank you, Melissa.
Yes, thank you. I have no questions either, Melissa. And part of the forgiveness of being late is to bring donuts or pizza or anything like that. It's just, but you're
I was
fine.
waiting in line for that, and it just got too late, so I had to run back.
You know, we're going to be,
Good answer.
thank you for that, but no, no harm, no foul. So with that, I'll entertain a motion on item 4D.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve amendment number 2 to funding agreement number 213-22 in the amount of $350,701 as presented.
And Mr. Chair, I will second that.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second on this item. Those in favor say aye.
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 Okay, great. Thank you, Melissa. We have one more for you. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Oh, I'm sorry. The motion carries unanimous. Thank you. Everybody's keeping me in line today. I love it. That's great. So item 4E, information discussion action to approve funding item number 224-23 between the Arizona Department of Housing and the Gila County Community Services Department, Housing Services, to provide Department of Energy Weatherization Assistant Program bipartisan infrastructure law funding in the amount of $372,706 that will be used to provide weatherization services to eligible citizens residing in Gila County for the period of July 1, 2022 to June 30th, 2027 as presented.
Yes, good morning, thank you. This particular contract will be for 5 years. It's a Department of Energy straight from the federal government into, again, the Department of Housing and then to us. This will allow us to do a little planning for the first time. Usually we don't really know what we're getting for the next year till April sometimes, May even. And in this case, this is a 5-year grant that will allow us to do planning and is the base of our weatherization program.
Thank you, Melissa. Any questions? Supervisor Humphrey?
I have no questions.
Supervisor Klein, any questions?
No, sir. Just thank you, Melissa.
Yep. Thank you, Melissa. I have no questions. I will entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve funding agreement number 224-23 in the amount of $372,706 as presented.
And Mr. Chair, I'll second that.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second to approve. All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion passes unanimously.
Good job.
Very good, very good, very good. Item F, Homero.
Thank you very
Thank you,
much.
Melissa. Item 4F. Information discussion action to award a contract in response to invitation to bid 121922, trucking the solid waste from Russell Gulch Landfill to the Buckhead Mesa Landfill with a change in location to add the Republic Services in Apache Junction to North Star Transport LLC for the $1,000 per load during the construction of the new cell and pond. Homero.
Thank you. Chairman Christensen and supervisors. Good to be here with you this morning. Just a quick update. Things are going well in the expansion of the new cell, the expansion of the Russell Gulch landfill with the new cell and the sedimentation pond. We have scales purchased. We have purchased a scale house. We have built the bypass road, and of course, Meridian Construction is working basically on schedule other than the weather days. So I'll report a little bit more of that while I talk about this particular item. This is, the request here is to ask the board to award a contract in response to invitation for bids 12-19-22, and that's the trucking of solid waste from Russell Gulch landfill to Buckhead Mesa landfill. That's the way it was written. However, we've changed that a little bit, and that was the suggested motion that you read, and I'll explain that as we go on. So the board authorized the advertisement, and we did that. It was advertised in the Payson Roundup, and we had 4 vendors that had hauled other waste for us that we emailed information to. And we also advertised in the Gila County website under procurement and the Dodge Data and Analytics website. So it was advertised in the normal fashion. Of course, the flood in 2021 aggravated the situation in Russell Gulch by moving the closure date up sooner. The construction of the new cell was started on January 30th, 2023, and will be completed on 100 days plus weather days. We have about 9 weather days, so the target completion date today is May 19th. Okay, that's the 100 days that we quoted in the contract plus 9 weather days that have transpired in this time frame. 1 bid was received, and it was opened on February 7th. The bid was evaluated and met all our requirements. And so the Russell Gulch landfill and Globe receives about 80 tons of solid waste per day and is nearing its capacity. It is 1 to 2 months away from capacity, and everybody's working to extend it to 2 months. At this time, we're planning that the landfill will be completely full end of April. And that the construction of the new cell will be completed May 19th, like I mentioned earlier. Okay, so we have 18 working days that we think we would need to haul waste to an alternate site. So initially, the staff intended to move the trash to Buckhead Mesa landfill. However, we don't want to load up Buckhead Mesa landfill. We want to keep its capacity intact as much as possible. So during the bidding process, we found a closer landfill. The landfill is Apache Junction, and it does offer a shorter haul. And we talked with the 1 vendor that submitted a bid, and they were okay to hauling to Apache Junction. Okay, so this option was not included, hauling to Apache Junction was not included in the bid package, but the only bidder, North Star Transport, was fine. And they've accepted to haul to either location for the same price. One of the things that I wanted to talk about is the cost, and they passed out a piece of paper that shows a couple of boxes. So since you have that piece of paper, I'll walk you through the boxes. The landfill daily tonnage per day is 80 tons. The cost to haul 20 tons, which is one truckload, is $1,000 per load. The cost to haul per day is $4,000. On the next box, walking over to the right side, is the tipping fee per ton at Apache Junction is really a low cost of $22.50. We have a contract with them to honor that price. The cost to tip per load based on 80 tons is $450, and the cost to tip per day moving 80,000 tons would be $1,800. The total cost per day would be $5,800 to haul. And then we have 18 days, so that totals $104,400 $104,400 is the cost to haul and tip, the tipping fee, both added together. The tipping fee that collected in the meantime for that 1,440 tons that we would be receiving during those 18 days at $80 a ton is $69,955. And if you want to look at it from a cash flow perspective, the cash flow difference, not accounting for landfill operating costs, would be $34,445. And I wanted to just share that with you. I'm not using subtracting one from the other as an excuse or anything. These are just facts. There is an operating cost that we incur on a daily basis. We would incur that, but really the additional cost during this time frame would be $34,445. Okay, So with that, we're requesting that the board award a contract in response to that invitation for bids 12/19/22 to trucking solid waste from Russell Gulch landfill to the Buckhead Mesa landfill with a change in location to the Republic Services landfill in Apache Junction, and that the award be granted to North Star Transport LLC at a price of $1,000 per load until the new cell is operating. And with that, I'll open it up for questions.
Thank you, Homero. Any questions? Supervisor Humphrey?
Well, I had a lot, but you answered a lot of questions. I'm glad to see that the costs are not what they appeared to be after you broke it down for us, and to not be that far out. But with the cost, I was kind of wondering where the funds would come from for these costs?
The funds will come from the landfill enterprise.
Okay, okay. And I would just like to thank you very much for working on this diligently and coming in to bail us out on this. I've received a lot of complaints because there's no room to pull a trailer up there and things, and so the landfill has been a lot of my attention lately as far as phone calls. And so, thank you for working this out. Thank you for answering a lot of questions that I have had from the public. Jessica, did you wanted to say something before I continue?
Go ahead.
Mr. Chair. Yes, sorry to interrupt. I didn't know if you wanted to comment on this, Supervisor Humphrey. Chairman, members of the board, when there's a modification to a invitation for bid, I question whether other contractors would have submitted a bid with the new terms that are applicable in what we're trying to do. So here the change was from Buckhead Mesa landfill over to Apache Junction. So the question really is whether or not more contractors would have submitted a bid if it were if they knew that they would be dropping off at Apache Junction rather than Buckhead Mesa landfill. I wanted to present that question to you. I authorized this because I did not think that that was a huge, significant change. However, I did want to bring it out to the board.
Thank you, Jessica. Any questions about that, Supervisor Humphrey?
Well, I think we're kind of under the gun. I think this project should have started an awful long time ago. I think its feet was drug on this project way too long. I think we're in a situation now that if we ask to go out for rebid now that we have changed locations, I think that will do nothing but delay more of our efforts, which may cost us more than the 18 days. It could turn into more days if we turn it out to bid. And you said you only received one bid off the start?
Correct. We received one bid, and we did notice other people that bid for hauling the green waste. They were notified, and they were not interested in this business. Again, I respect what our County Attorney Shabelli is saying, and I understand that as well. But we are wanting to move with the project, and so that's why we were presenting without.
Yeah, my 2 cents is worth is we're under the gun to get this done. And if there was only one bid presented, there were several for the green waste, but only one for the trash hauling. I would feel that I would be comfortable going forward with our progress in trying to get this mess cleaned up.
Mr. Menlev?
Mr. Chairman, quick question that, were there, when this originally went out to bid, were there any, you said you reached out to other vendors and there was no interest. Were there any questions, any asking about the detail of the bid or from any other vendor? Any inquiries from another vendor showing possible interest?
I'd like to invite Melanie. I didn't hear of any, but I'd like to invite landfill manager Melanie Mendez to help answer that question.
Good morning, Mr. Chair,
Good morning.
supervisors. So in response to your question regarding the change to to Apache Junction opposed to Buckhead Mesa, there was a point where even the vendor that bid wanted to do half and half, to where he would still be able to go to Buckhead Mesa, because going through the canyon is quite a feat, where the drive to Buckhead Mesa is flat. So he said it would be better if we could do half and half, and we thought, well, we'd rather not take any over there. So I don't see that being a huge deterrent, the fact that it was Buckhead Mesa. We did have a couple other people ask. There was one in town. It was a big trucking outfit that's over by Wyos on I guess it's the 188. And he said that because it was a short time frame that we'd be hauling, that he works for the mines, and that it wouldn't be conducive to him because it's not a long-term job. And so he let me know. I had called him twice because we didn't get anybody at first. And the one contractor, North Star, they were late. So I don't think we got it until after, like the very next day after the bid was due. And so I called him again and I let him know that it was going to go out to bid. And he said, yeah, I'm sorry, I'm not going to do it. And we did have some addendums go out. I don't have them in front of me. And there were questions regarding the process, if their trucks would get dirty. And I said, yes, your trucks are going to get dirty. It's trash, you know? So I hope that answers your question as to other people that had some questions. Even the green waste company, Chipin, they did, they looked at the contract too, and they're so busy doing the green waste right now that they didn't want to have any interest in it whatsoever.
I believe that was Mr. Minloff's question.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, Mr. Minloff.
Yeah.
Thank you, Melanie. Ms. Chairman, without any interest having been expressed to the RFP process or the request for proposal, I guess what Ms. Sabelli is saying, that there is a risk, and there is, but it'd be limited risk, limited opportunity, because there was not really any expressed interest, any questions that expressed interest in obtaining this contract while the RFP process was going on. So I don't know if that helps or not, but.
Well, Mr. Chair, and if I may.
Yes, sir.
Melanie, thank you very much to reaching out to local contractors. I appreciate you reaching out to the locals and giving them the opportunity, even though they didn't turn in a bid, to call them and ask them if they want to. So thank you for that. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Supervisor Klein, do you have any comments with the discussion we're having?
Well, I'll start with, I'm glad we're going to go to Apache Junction instead of Buckhead Mesa. I agree with Tim and Tim's comments. You know, we're backed in a corner on this. We're at the 11th hour, and we're going to have to get it done. And I think knowing that, and recognizing that, I think it's just going to have to be a risk we're willing to take to make sure we can get this pulled off. So other than that, I don't really like the situation at all, but it's what we need to do. So that I'll call it good. Thanks.
Thank you, Supervisor. I only have a question here. So, we're paying Apache Junction $22.50 per ton. What would it cost to just simply run everything to Buckhead Mesa? Why are we looking at this other than it's a shorter distance?
The hauling cost, I mentioned the $104,000 for
Yeah.
hauling and the tip fee.
Yeah.
The hauling cost represents $72,000 of that. And,
Okay.
and the reason we don't want to use, because the space at Buckhead Mesa is worth something. And it's our opinion that the space is worth more than $22.50 a ton.
Okay.
And that's why we decided to move to Apache Junction. The other point is, we're looking long-term. When are we going to run us out of space at Buckhead Mesa? And when Melanie first stepped into the job, it was 2 years But since she's been on the job, they've flown the drone, they found that a back slope structure was incorrect, and they've actually, by making some modifications to the way they're doing the work, we're looking at 4 to 5 years of life in the landfill that we have at Buckhead Mesa. And yesterday, Melanie and I were at a meeting with the Forest Service talking about the expansion of Buckhead Mesa. And we met this week, we're gonna meet again in 10 days or so, and we're gonna push very hard to get all the things done. As a matter of fact, they gave us authorization to go ahead and do some drilling to test some sites to see if it's gonna be compatible for a landfill. And we have full authorization from them to march forward on that. We need to get a contract out to do that. So we can be way ahead of that 4 or 5 years horizon, and that's our goal.
Okay, thank you. That sounds like sound logic to me. So if there's nothing else, then I will call for a motion on 4F.
Just one thing, thank you for thinking ahead on Buckhead Mesa, so we're not in the same situation with it as we are at Russell Gulch. So
Amen.
thank you very much. I appreciate your forward thinking.
Thank you.
Okay, and with that, Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion. I move to approve a contract in response to invitation to bid number 121922, trucking solid waste from the Russell Gulch landfill to the Buckhead Mesa landfill with a charge in location to add Republican Services in Apache Junction to North Star Transportation LLC at $1,000 per load.
And Mr. Chair, I'll second that.
Thank you. We have a motion to approve and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion approves unanimously. Thank you. Thank you, Melanie. I've been asked to table item 4G for, it's not ready yet. So I will call for a motion to table item 4G.
Mr. Chair, I move to table item 4G.
Do we have a second?
Mr. Chair, I'll second that.
All those in favor of
Tabling.
Tabling, yes, thank you.
That's okay.
It's
I'm
my
here to
brain.
help. I'm here to help.
Thank you. Hopefully I'll be able to finish this meeting.
That's okay. If
All those,
not,
all those in favor say aye, please.
Aye.
aye.
Okay, motion passes. Thank you. Okay, I didn't have breakfast, so there we go. Where are we at here now? Item
H.
4H, information, discussion, action to approve the sale of assessor's tax parcel number 206-06-195G, comma, 206-10-078A, comma, and 206-10-078B to Gila County for $1 for each parcel to be used for a public purpose related to transportation and or flood control pursuant to Arizona Revised Statute 42-18303E and authorize the chairman's signature on the related quit claim deeds. Melissa.
Thank you, Chairman, members of the board. These 3 parcels are needed to be used and utilized for transportation and or flood control purposes for Gila County. And we would like to relate those back into the county services. They have been deeded to the state of Arizona for non-payment of taxes. And they were located in, they were very old parcels. 2 of them were 1938 and 1940, and one was, I believe, 1997. So we would like to actually deed those over to Gila County for transportation and or flood control purposes. One has a lien amount of $465.18, and the other is $13.33. And one we could not locate, so it's a kind of an unknown. But we definitely would like to deed those over to Gila County for transportation and or flood control purposes if the board seems deemed to do so.
Thank you, Missy. Any questions for Missy? Supervisor Humphrey?
I guess one, Missy, did I understand there's one of them you couldn't find?
One of them I could not
But we're gonna
locate
own
for
it.
a lien amount, yeah. That was the
That's a
1938
little
one.
concerning, but, okay, it's ours and we're liable, but we don't know where it's at.
Well, we know where it's located at, we don't know the lien amount.
Oh, okay.
Because it's so old when it was deeded to the state of Arizona that I could not locate the lien amount.
The lien amount. Oh, okay. Well, good enough. That's all the questions I have.
Okay, Supervisor Klein, any questions?
No, I don't have any. Thank you.
Thank you. I will then entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the sale of S. Ayers tax parcel number 206-06-195G, number 206-10-078A, and 206-10-078B to Gila County for $1 to be used as a public purpose related to transportation and/or flood control, and authorize the chairman's signature on the related quitclaim deeds.
And Mr. Chair, I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carries unanimous. Item 4I, information, discussion, action to adopt resolution number 23-03-01, designating the county manager as an agent to provide preliminary approval to sign agreements of $100,000 and under for the appropriated Pleasant Valley Veterans Retreat projects. Mr. Menlove.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, thank you. This is follow-up to our work session item last week, and came to the solution of offering a resolution to you for your consideration today, that to allow the county manager to sign contracts of $100,000 or less that specifically apply to the Pleasant Valley Veterans Retreat. I'd be glad to answer any questions should you have them.
Thank you. Supervisor Humphrey.
Just a question. This project is under facilities, correct?
Mr. Chairman, Supervisor Humphrey, yes.
Okay, and Mr. O'Driscoll is over facilities on this particular project?
Mr. Chairman, Supervisor Humphrey, yes.
Okay, I noticed that he's here. If you would like to make a comment on where we're going with this project while we're here and it's on our agenda? Please?
Morning, Mr. Chair and Board of Supervisors.
Good morning.
I'd be happy to answer any questions about this project you have, sir.
Well, just kind of where we're going with it, being that we're opening this up to try to expedite or expedite the work and things on this project. Just if you're in charge of this project, where are we going with it and how's this looking for us?
Mr. Chair, members of the board, so currently where we're at right now is previous in this meeting, the board approved the contract with EarthQuest to get the on-site wastewater system up and working. So I super appreciate that because that's been an outstanding issue. So we're going to go ahead and take care of that. Today at noon, from noon to 2, my facilities team is meeting with a job order contractor named Gordian. And what that is basically we're going to do a complete walkthrough of the buildings and get a scope together as what needs to be done. And so job order contract is simply we get the scope of everything that needs to be done, and we'll go ahead and put it in a packet to bring forth to Mr. Menlove and the Board of Supervisors as far as to go out for bid for all that work. So the advantage with job order contracting is simply that it's one contractor that's able to, for one price, do what we need them to do. So that's what we're moving forward right now. So.
Okay, good. Yeah, I was just, while it was on our table, I just was wondering an update and how we're going and where we're going with this, and so that was my question, so thank you very much.
You're welcome, sir.
Thank you. Supervisor Klein, any comments or questions?
No questions, I guess. I appreciate this getting on the agenda so we can address it and look at it. You know, if this works out good with Gordian, there may be not even a need for the 100,000 or less on this project, which would make it really, really simple for us as a board. So, but I do appreciate this getting on the agenda for us to look at and give it a try if need be, because with the difference in cost today compared to a year or so ago with inflation, you know, while we could have purchased under $50,000 a year ago, is going to cost us 60 or 70 this year. So this could be a big help if Gordian, if the deal with Gordian falls through, it could really buy us a lot. So thanks again for all that.
Thank you, Supervisor Klein, and thank you, Mr. Menlove, Mr. O'Driscoll, for all your efforts. And so my only comment is that whatever we need to do to get contracts moving quickly to where we can take advantage of the money that we have. Pleasant Valley, this is one solution for them at the Veterans Retreat, but we also can call more meetings, telephone meetings or anything. So I would suggest that if things cannot wait for an agenda regular meeting, that we would up our conversation with the board as was suggested last meeting. Okay? Okay, so with that, then I will entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve resolution number 23-03-01.
And Mr. Chair, I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve. All those in favor say aye.
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 Passes unanimously. Thank you. Item number 5, we have the consent agenda, items A through F. Supervisor Humphrey, is there anything that you would like to take off or remove from the consent agenda item?
All of them. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
This meeting's going way too fast. Let's look at all of them today. No, I'm kidding. They're
Okay,
good.
we're all good. Yeah, it's okay to kid around. I love it. So, Supervisor Klein, do you have anything that you'd like to remove off of the consent agenda item and talk about separately?
No, Mr. Chair, I'm good.
Oh, thank you. The only thing I would say is just comment on 5A that we are appointing a new member to the Northern Gila County Range Commission, Dan Weil, and I appreciate his volunteerism to do that. So with that, I will entertain a motion to approve all the consent agenda items.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve consent agenda items 5A through 5F.
And Mr. Chair, I'll second that.
Motion and a second to approve. All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries unanimous. Call to the public. Item number 6. This is a part of our regular board meeting. We can't act on a call to the public, but we can ask if anyone from the public would like to make some comments. Is there anyone present here in the Board of Supervisors room in Globe that would like to respond to the call to the public? No? How about YouTube, the internet? No? Payson, anyone there?
No, sir.
No? Okay, so for lack of that, then we will close that portion and we will move on to item number 7. Anytime during this meeting pursuant the Arizona Revised Statute, the members of the Board of Supervisors and the manager may present brief summaries of current events. No action can be taken. Mr. Menlove.
Mr. Chairman, thank you.
Yes.
Last week I attended the Arizona Local Government Employee Benefit Trust annual meeting, and the purpose of that meeting is to review the health insurance plan. We're part of a trust that provides health insurance for our employees. From a 2-day discussion and a deep dive into everything health insurance related, it was approved by the Arizona Local Government Employee Benefit Trust Executive Board a 10.7% increase. That's an approximate, it might vary slightly, but 10.7% increase to our health insurance costs for the fiscal year 2023-24. I know that my finance director is not, that's a big pill to swallow and will be very difficult to manage, but inflation is the name of the game with that, and medical insurance, medical care, prescriptions, and everything, significant inflation, so 10.7% with regards to that. We are, for congressionally directed spending, or what may typically be called earmarks, Senator Kelly has opened up a portal to apply for those grants for congressionally directed spending. The deadline for that, for those requests for funding is March 15th. So less than 10 days, it's next week. And I've been working with Patty Power to make sure that we get a number of items submitted or requests. Last year, we had submitted one that was for the 512 road. Changing our focus or changing our approach a little bit is to, because there's different buckets. There's different buckets for like health and human services and different things. So we're working to apply for different grants. And if there's several roads, which we know we have, that we will need to prioritize, that we can submit them, but that we do prioritize. And also to make those in manageable bites so that they are within the parameters or within the scope of what Senator Kelly would submit for us and potentially get funded for us. So those are due. We're working to have everything together by Thursday to have those so they can be submitted. So if you have comments or anything that you would like to see addressed, certainly bring that to my attention. And finally, a county managers meeting on Friday where we'll discuss a lot of the legislation and things that are going on down the state and how those things are being addressed and our focus there. So, Mr. Chairman, that's my report.
Thank you, Mr. Menlove. If I could ask, it's our intention to hire another grant writer, or have we already?
Mr. Chairman, that would be under the purview of our finance department, so I'll let Ms. Belling.
I just heard that we were doing that. So Marion, can you help us with that?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We currently have a job posting out there for an additional grant writer. It's called Grant Administrator, and that would report to our department. If you know someone, or if anybody watching on YouTube knows someone, we encourage you to apply. And we do have a couple applications right now, but we keep it open until the posting closes. So we'd be happy to review any applications or applicants that you're aware of.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, if I may, being
Please.
that you put that out there, when does the posting close?
I would have to double check, but I think it closes at the end of this month.
Okay, yeah, because you said you had a couple
Yeah,
applicants.
it's not
and we're gonna keep it
tomorrow.
open, so.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, just so if people are on YouTube or watching today, that they know when it's up. And they can apply by going to gilacountyaz.gov
Yes.
Finance.
It's through the HR,
through HR.
and they're welcome to call our office. They can reach me at 402-8743, and I'll help walk them through the process if needed.
Thank you. Thanks, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Marion. I have one more comment. I can't find it right now, but there is some momentum gaining traction, at least in the Senate, I think, at the state level, and I can't remember the bill number, but it's to eliminate corporate personal property taxes. Do you have anything further you can report on the progress there?
Mr. Chairman, I will report that the County Supervisors Association is formally opposed to legislation, so CSA is doing their lobbying efforts to defeat that proposal, because that there's some surface things and then there's underlying things that would erode our tax base even further in Gila County. So that's definitely something that we as a county and as state association are opposed to. It's still out there though. It's still out in the process.
Our Senator Wendy Rogers, I think, supports it, if that's for your information. So, okay, thank you, Mr. Menlove. Supervisor Humphrey.
Yeah, attended a grand opening for Dixon Rock and Material. It's a trucking company, and they're going to start having different materials that the local people can have. So that's great. I was on KMOG yesterday at 9. I'll hold a Southern Gila County pre-season fire meeting on Thursday for Southern, and I don't mean to split up north and south by any means by having a pre-season fire meeting here and one up north. It's just that we have completely different country and completely different forests boundaries into which we cover. So that's one of the reasons I do this. It's not to split the county. It's because we have different forests and forest management in both areas. So I want everybody to get on the same page as we go forward this year. And I also will be have a Tano Basin public meeting tonight at 5. And that's about all I have, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Humphrey. Supervisor Klein, any report today?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So there's a couple things that I'll throw out there. And one, I was there at that Dixon Sand and Rock grand opening as well. That's, like Tim said, that's going to be a really good addition to Globe, Miami, and the area. So that was good. The other thing was, too, that same day, I attended a coalition of counties meeting there at the courthouse, and there's a new chair coming on board. His name is Dean Jackson from New Mexico, from the New Mexico side. He'll be a really good chair for that board. Also, I don't know if you guys have been tracking that, but the aerial shooting of those cattle in the Gila, that had been going on for about 3 days. I believe right now it's shut down because of TNE species, but supposedly they knocked out about 19 head of cattle out of the Gila with that. So that was all from the coalition of counties. Tomorrow I will be in Sholo for a WIOA meeting with the executive board. And what we're doing is us board members that have been on now for a while, turning it over to a new board. So I look forward to that. And I think that's it for now. I'm sure I'm missing something, but I'll catch up later. So thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Supervisor, and we look forward to seeing you next time. I think we have a break next Tuesday, though, if I'm not, yeah, we don't have a meeting next Tuesday, so thank you for that. And Tim, I did listen to the program yesterday, so it was good. I think it went really well on KMOG. I'm on there once a month, and so it's good that we get out there and answer questions about the rest stop and potholes on the highways and, the various jurisdictions and how that works. I get all those same questions myself. So we have a 20th anniversary celebration of the Gila County Provisional College District, and I know there's one coming up on Thursday, I think, this week. And we had one in Payson, and that went really well. It was very interesting. It's a great thing that we're doing there, and I think Gila County government completely supports that, and that's a great thing. So a lot of people were there, was able to take a tour, learn quite a bit about what we do, and it's really quite tremendous. One of the greatest needs that they were saying is dormitories. If we could get a place for students to live, it would really just be the thing, because right now there's a lot of people that just can't afford to go to school there and live in that area in Payson. So probably not so much the problem down here in Globe, but up there it's tremendous. Also, I'm going to have a pre-fire season meeting And that will be at Messenger's Funeral Home as usual. That'll be March 23rd. And I think it's completely appropriate that we have 2 or more of these diverse throughout the county. So we will be pulling together everyone up there as we have before and talking about the season. Just because it's been wet, just because we've had snow, does not mean we're not going to have a bad fire season, because that stuff grows grass and it will dry out and it will be hot at some point. So we need to be prepared. And then I look forward to this Friday. Homero, Vela and Wayne Jones, Gary Morris and myself will be going out to the Fossil Creek area, specifically the 708 road, which is the old road that is from Strawberry all the way down to the bottom. And for rescue purposes, it needs to be improved. We do have the approval from the Forest Service to go ahead and do that, just get it done, along with a few other things that we'll be talking about out there as well. So I believe that we are progressing with Fossil Creek, that we're getting a little further. We have just a couple more hurdles to cover, and they're mainly Native American concerns that Matt Pachorik is just trying to solidify to make sure that there's no concerns there before we start improving some of the other roads, trails, whatever you want to call them. So anyway, that's all I have. Is there anything else from anyone today, this morning?
Mr. Chair, I just
Yes.
have one question. How
Yes,
many
sir.
people on YouTube today? 20? That's good. We've been holding about 20 to 25, so welcome and thank you for joining.
Yes, very good. So with that, if there's nothing else, then I appreciate the opportunity to chair, and I will adjourn this meeting.